Hi, thank you all to Julie's friends who have gathered here today to remember her beautiful soul, to celebrate her life, and to honor the lives of the girls she created and left behind. I apologize for my absence. It was my plan and wish to be here today, but due to a variety of reasons, I cannot be with you to share hugs and comfort and to pay respect to Julie's loved ones. However, I want to share some words with her family and daughters in order to celebrate the amazing person that Julie was. I think we all can agree that the love that we have for Julie was forged from the incredible bonds that she built with others. Julie, in her essence, Julie, in her essential form, was a builder. She was a creator. Julie made things happen. Whether it was a piece of art she created from a distant memory, or any one of her various projects scattered around the house, or things that she tried to fix, Julie built things to be enjoyed and to last. She nurtured animals and forgotten people and helped build confidence and support for those who needed companionship and care. Her job, also an extension of that impetus to build and create. Julie looked to take care of others and to help build some sort of normal for them in an otherwise dismal setting. But it wasn't just the broken that Julie built and supported. Julie built relationships that last the test of time. And she continued to build relationships throughout her life, as evidenced by the variety of people who are gathered here today, and by the hundreds of those who mourned her loss online but could not be here today. Julie's magnetism and love of life was a constant in her short life. She built so many memories in her time on Earth. I've been friends with Julie since high school, even though I remember when we were younger and Connie and her would run up and down our street on Northland Drive. But it wasn't until my junior year that I really became close to her. I spent every day after school during these years in Jackie's garage watching Julie drink Pepsi after Pepsi while we would talk about just about everything. Another thing that Julie built was my confidence and my pride in my own intelligence. Julie supported my nerddom, if you will, being one of the first friends to encourage me instead of mock me for knowing so many arcane things. I felt like I could be my true self around her. She regularly bought me books of unusual facts, and I still to this day have several of them. One of the stories I have reflected upon the most recently about the legacy that she built within my own life is the trip she pressured me to go on to SIUC. I was probably about 17 years old, which would make her about 16, as she was the class below me. And we drove to Carbondale the wrong way up 72. Why we were on 72 when we should have been on 51 outside of Warrensburg, I don't know, but we were 17, 16 years old. We got about halfway to Chicago before we realized we were going the wrong way. But Julie in those days, as I said before, drank Pepsi like it was water. It was rare to see her hand attached to anything else. And I remember it seemed Jackie had a never-ending supply of it in her garage. We really didn't let the wrong turn get us down at all. Like everything else Julie did, she made the best of a bad time and had a great time doing it. Julie gulped down several of those Pepsis that I was talking about, and we listened to Pantera and Nine Inch Nails in her big, black, extremely loud sports car. Many of you remember it. We called it the Batmobile, and we barreled our way down 57, screaming at the top of our lungs and pausing to laugh hysterically at the cars we passed and to have in-depth conversations about life. Normal things for 17-year-olds. She loved that car and going fast. Of course, you all know that. Julie did everything fast except for get out of bed, get dressed, and wake up. She seemed fearless and seemed to push the boundaries of what was acceptable even at 17. I, on the other hand, was more anxiety-ridden and cautious. I think this is why we got along so well. I talked her down and out of things, and she talked me into things. I didn't want to go to Carbondale. It seemed too far away, too expensive, full of people I didn't know, full of things that I couldn't control. She encouraged me, though, that it was a good idea. And after lots of discussion, I just really got tired of fighting over it. And I said, okay, I'll go. But it was that trip that somewhat altered the course of my life. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I wanted to illustrate just, some of the other things that Julie built that she didn't ever know about. For some reason, I couldn't decide if I wanted to go to college or not, and choosing where to go seemed overwhelming. My parents kept pressuring me to apply to college, and I had no desire to even think about it. I remembered that trip, though, and that vibe in Carbondale, and how much fun we had on the ride down there, and in the various things that we did that weekend, and the beautiful campus that we encountered, and the fun things we went to a bowling alley, for instance, and the fun things that we did. I wouldn't have chosen to go there if it wasn't for the trip that we took. And I went on to get 2 degrees from SIUC, a BA and an MA in English. Later, I would go on to get my PhD in English. I'm now a professor of medieval literature, um, but I was led to SIUC through a series of events, and Julie was part of that journey. She was supportive the entire way and always made me feel good about myself, telling me how smart I was, or how driven I was, or how proud she was of me. She helped build me up by encouraging me to be self-assured in my knowledge, and help push me to find the place where I was to find my own destiny. Julie had a role in building me and who I am today. We all know that she was incredibly intelligent and driven. There are few people in this world that I could be myself around. Julie was one of them. We could talk for hours about a slew of subjects, and she always kept up. She was brilliant. You guys know that. Julie, like so many of us here today, helped build each of us up. And to her, I'm forever grateful for that. Julie loved life and the limits. She was always quick to push boundaries and discover places and subjects unknown. She built her own experiences, never letting anyone else stand in her path to tell her otherwise, sometimes to her own detriment. She had a thirst for anything and everything, and that thirst was never quenched. She consumed knowledge and literature and music and whatever subject that she wanted to know about, whatever experience she needed to have, she made it happen. There was no boundary that could stop Julie. She was the same way with people. She gathered them all to her and loved them, even though she liked to say she didn't like people. She did. She didn't know a stranger. She was so free and expansive. Julie was independent and driven. She loved with all of her heart. Julie was so magnetic. Her personality, grand. Her thirst, divine. Life could not keep a hold on her. Some people are so big that even this life cannot contain all that they are. And so it loosened its grip upon her and led her into the next. Even though this life could not contain her, Julie is eternally ours. She will live on in our stories and in our memories and in the people who she'd helped build us to become. Those memories and experience that she so carefully built with the love and care that she had for just about everyone and everything are writ permanent within us. Thank you.